Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here, and back with the Ibanez. I know you guys are getting sick of it. I want to get it done, get it finished, get it off the bench, start working on some other stuff. I finally got the remainder parts for the Sony subwoofer amplifier, and I got a pack of resistors, which is, I think I got like freaking 100 over here, and all I need is like 3. But that's okay. You could probably use it for other projects as well. Not a big deal. Another thing I ended up doing is I picked up a shitload, I think it's like 24 feet of the vintage braided wire 2-conductor for guitars. And I also picked up the cloth braided vintage style single conductor for, just jumping from pin to pin on either, your output jack to your pots or a separate ground wire or something like that, for guitar use only. And I started looking into what I have for wire that's left over, and I'm running really, really low. I've used a lot of wire for a lot of different things. I have a whole kit of automotive wiring in different gauges, basically everything from 12 gauge all the way down to 14 gauge, and or 16 gauge actually. And I kind of use that for wiring switches up, or lights or something. And that stuff I don't use for the guitar stuff. That is solid copper, 100% oxygen free wires. So I want to keep the guitar stuff separate from the automotive stuff. So one thing I always stayed away from was the silicone-based insulating wires, where the insulator that's on the wire has a silicone base to it, which makes the wire a lot flexible. But if you ever, for instance, okay, I'm just going to use a piece of scrap wire here. If you ever take say this is a wire that's been, just a single conductor wire. Don't mind the 2 that are coming out of it. But if this is just a single wire conductor, and you go ahead and strip the insulation off of where, you're going to solder to or tin up your wires and stuff, and say you make a bend real tight like this, which is kind of like a U shape or a J shape, and you need to solder onto that part here where it's real sharp turn. The problem with this is with that silicone based wire insulator, as you heat up the wire as you're soldering it and stuff, that silicone, the wire and the silicone insulator starts to separate. So now you're left with a big piece of insulation that's going off this way, and the wire is like basically stripped because of the melted insulation. Yeah, I hate that shit. There's other wire that's out there that is still flexible, and you're still able to use it for projects and stuff like that without having a silicone-based insulator on there. I guess for some projects it would work good. You say if you have terminals that are screwed on terminals, or if you're putting connectors on the end of those wires, then I would say pretty good. But if you have to add heat to them, yeah, I wouldn't bother with it. So I got a package here that I need to ship out, and the person that this is going to, he knows who he is. Basically, it is a shitload of these patch cables. I guess he's got a puppy that likes to chew on his wires, and he basically stated that these would work out good for him. And I offered to get rid of these a long time ago, but nobody took me up on the offer. So I figured, well, I'm going to give him a bunch of these things because I have a lot of them. I'll use these wires for certain projects, and I'll cut off the ends on it. There's a negative and a positive. It's shielded it, and although I don't think these would be great for guitar use, they can be, I guess. I mean, if you're in a pinch and need a wire, I said, this probably worked out pretty good. But I'll cut these ends off, and I'll use the wire itself for different projects. But anyways, let's get back to this guy here. So what I need to do is I need to grab this guy right here to start intonating this thing and getting the setup complete. And once I get this thing out, I'm going to go over all the specs that I end up doing on this thing to basically make sure everything is still where it's supposed to be. I Haven't done anything. I've been busy with other stuff, and this thing has been sitting down here on the counter untouched, so I'm sure that these strings are out of tune now, that they have plenty of time to do some stretching. And yeah, so here is the tool that you need for doing the intonation on these bridges or tremolos. That's all you need. I have, now this is, don't laugh because this is my kit of mess. Basically inside this kit here, this box here, I have everything that I need, from fret files to basically scrapers to, let's see, where are they? These are the guys that you need for working on Floyd Roses and other types of tremolos. This is for a Floyd Rose style guitar that you are doing, setting up the intonation on. This one here is for the Ibanez trems, which is a setup for two different tremolos. You have the Edge, and then you have the Edge Pro, and all you do is just unscrew it and switch the threaded post to the other hole that's over here, and now you're able to go from one guitar to the other. Comes in very handy when you're setting up the Ibanez Floyd Roses and the Edges and regular Floyd Roses. I recommend these guys to everybody who works on guitars. So yeah, that's my little box of tools. I need to get a regular small toolbox instead of having this little case. But so let's get back into this guy. And first thing I want to do is I want to check the neck relief on this thing. Even if it is not in tune, I still want to check the neck relief just to see if anything has changed. And I'm sure the guitar is probably close to being tuned. So I've got a 12,000 shim here. It's kind of what I use all the time. I gotta wipe my hands because there's oil on these. Alright, let's get this thing up here. Again, fretting at the fret where the body meets the neck. Yeah, see, now it has a little bit more relief in it than what it had before, so things have changed. So let me go ahead and tweak a little bit here. Give this thing a little bit of a turn. Let's see where I'm at. Yeah, a little bit more. Too much. A little bit, loosen it just a little bit more. That's much better. Like I said, it's been sitting for a while, so things have changed. So I'm going to go ahead and see how far off my tuning is right now. And I'm going to have to loosen, let's see, is it this guy or the other one? Oh, it's this one. So I'm going to have to tune this thing back up because it's really off right now. And the neck relief and string tension kind of did that. Alright, so that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's a little bit good. All right, lock these guys down, and locking them down should not change too much of anything. Just a little tiny bit. Alright, check these guys again. Lock these guys down. Okay. Okay, lock these guys down. Alright, so let's go over again. Just a little bit. Alright, so I like that. Let me check the action height on this thing to make sure that... Now I did raise the action height just a little bit because it was giving me a little bit of a problem before. And see, right now I got to go up again. I'm well under where I wanted it to be. .564 is where I want. And on you millimeter side, guys, that is a little bit under 2 mils. See here. All right, I got that one. Okay, check the top again. 5/64. Around the 17th fret, 5/64. 16th. I can drop that down a little bit more. Let's check the tuning again because I'm sure it changed. Let's check the neck relief again. Yeah, right where I want it. Okay, so that's done. Intonation. So let's go ahead and pluck, fine tune. Fret. It's off a little bit. All right, so this is the fun part. You take this and you screw it into the back of your saddle to where it's right snug up against your fine tuner. And you take another Allen key, which I think I need a smaller one. Yep. Loosen the lock on your... Oh, sorry, I got something to drink. That's better. Loosen the lock. And let's see here. I have to go backwards with it, right? Yep, just a little bit. Alright, so I put the intonation screw back where it belongs. Next thing I want to do right now is check everything again. Kind of a little pet peeve of mine to make sure everything is still where it's supposed to be and nothing has changed. Again, the guitar's sitting for a few days or so since my last video, and things tend to kind of shift, change, and whatnot, so I want to make sure everything is still back where it's supposed to be. So first thing is checking the intonation, neck relief, right. So I don't have to worry about that. I'm happy. Truss rod cover can go back on. Next thing I want to do is check action height. A little bit under 2 mils at the 12th fret, 5/64ths, and a 16th. So let's see, on this side here, it's what? In between 1 and 1.5 millimeters on the high side. So that's good. Tuning, good. Good. Intonation. Good. Now I want to do the pickup height on this thing and get them where they're supposed to be. And for that, I need to get into my little messy toolbox. There we go. Alright, so on the low side, I'm going to go with an, what is this, a 8. It's a 1/8 on the low side. And I need my jeweler screwdriver to do that. So basically you fret the last fret, slide this under, and wow, I eyeballed that one pretty good. This one not so good. That's got to go up a little bit. A little bit more. Down a little bit. Okay, this guy here, and that's got to go down a little bit. I like it. Check again. And I could bring that one down just a little bit, not much, but just a little bit. Good, good, Good. And then for the high side, I'm using a 332s. I kind of marked these guys, put little tags on them so I know what I got. And this side here is got to go down a lot. Bring it up a little bit now. Good. And it's got to go up a little bit. Good. That side's got to go down a lot. Can raise it up a little bit. Good, good, good. Check the other side again, because moving the other side might change the pitch of the other side as well. It did a little bit. I gotta go up with it a little bit. Oh, wrong way. Okay. That's gotta go down a little bit. That's gotta go up a little bit. Good. Check again. Good. Good. And good. I'm happy with that. I go ahead and put the cover plate back on the back of this thing. Stars do not need to be inside of here no more. Now, just to get an idea of how dirty this thing was, okay, back cover, you know, looks fairly clean until I turn it over. I don't know if you can see that, all this dust. This is basically the crap that, how dirty this guitar was when I got it. I'm going to change that right now. No more dust. Clean that off a little bit. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these screws in. I don't know why, but I got a great tickle in my throat today. Put these screws back in. Now, I'm not going to put these screws in all the way. What I'm going to end up doing is leaving them a little bit on the high side because I need to paint these. Even though you don't see them, they're on the back. I know it's there, and I don't like that, considering that all the other screws pretty much look like they're brand new. I just don't like having, yeah. Neck screws have been painted. They're nice and black again. This cover plate screws are nice and black again, and why not make these nice and black again? Now, there's no reason to really be in this cover anymore. If you needed to make any fine-tuning adjustments, you do it right here. Last screw. All right, so where's my marker at? The paint pen. Now, I picked up a guitar mat and also another neck holder because this plastic one that I've got over here, I don't think it's going to last very long. So let's go ahead and give these guys a little paint. Make sure I get inside of where the screwdriver fits in there too, so it's nice and covered. And I'll let these dry. And did I get any paint on my hand? No. That's what sucks about being left-handed. Anytime you do, when I used to do a lot of pencil art, or even the pen art, I always used to get ink or pencil on my hand. All right, so those are going to dry. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to move the towel off to the edge of it. And where are my knobs at? I got the knobs right here. Give those a little bit of a polishing. So I got my chrome polish here. And I'm not using a lot of this stuff. I'm just using a little bit because, like I said, I don't want to remove too much of the plating that's on these. All right, that one looks good. This one here is a little bit dirtier. All right, that's better. Don't really need to get the knurl on the sides. The knurl on the sides look pretty good. Put this away. All right, so the one of these knobs is not the original to this guitar. It's got a little marker on it to basically tell you what position it is in. So I'm going to put that one up at the volume control. Go ahead and push that down, get that on there. There you go. And I'm going to put the one that is for this guitar that doesn't have that on there at the tone. There you go. Well, she's getting done. All I got to do is put the truss rod cover back on, and actually that's going to need a little bit of a cleaning, though. It's a little bit dirty. Let's see, that goes on this way. So go ahead and put that on there. Clean that up. I shouldn't have to do anything now. And got a little plan for this guitar that may involve another person. Should be kind of cool. And I may have a little surprise for him. So we'll see. See how this all works. Alright, so that's the best I'm going to be able to get that. I need to find the plastic polish that I used to have. I had this plastic polish that was great shit for polishing up plastic. It would remove scratches. It was great for, it just all around was really good stuff. And I can't find it no more. Like I said before, we used to use it on, if you ride a motorcycle and you know what a fairing is. A fairing is the front of the dashboard and the headlight where the handlebars are, and it has a windscreen on it, kind of like a little windshield. And we used to use this plastic polish on that. It did not hurt the UV coating that was on the plastic, but it did help with a lot of the scratches and stuff. You know, people were using, if people had were using paper towels to kind of wipe clean off with Windex or whatever, the windscreen, those paper towels would scratch the shit out of that windscreen. And this plastic polish actually helped a lot to remove those scratches. And yeah, I can't find that shit no more. All right, so we are pretty much done. I do want to go over the body and remove a lot of the handprints, fingerprints, and everything else. Like I said, I do have the whammy bar. Yeah. Uh-oh, I'm left with spare parts. Shit, what am I going to do with all these spare parts? Oh boy. All right, so the original ones that came on this guitar. So we have this plate here, and we have, basically there's only two plates that are in really, really bad shape. This plate here. These are two plates that came with this guitar. These are from another guitar, which are still usable. Yeah, they are still usable. Plus I have a whole set of brand new ones here that are usable. These ones here, yeah, basically all I can do is sand these down and paint them. I think I will hold on to them though, but I don't think I'm going to use them for anything. Maybe for something custom I'll use these for, but for something like this, I like to keep a lot of the guitars as original as possible. Even though, you know, change and modifications are good, there's really not too much of a you know, there's a lot of stuff you can do with guitars that can change the look, feel, and everything else of them. Now, the only thing that I did change on this guitar is I got rid of the green capacitor for the tone, and I used one of these little round ones that I have over here. These little round ones are for Les Paul guitars, so when I plug this thing in, I want to see how sensitive or how that tone control is as far as, you know, how it fades from one transition or one frequency to another frequency, if it just cuts right into it or what. That I think is mostly the pot itself. But yeah, so this is the original whammy bar that goes with this guitar. The only thing is it's chrome plated, not the Cosmo Black like everything else is on this thing here. And I don't think that's going to be too much of a big deal. This is a used guitar, so there are going to be some imperfections in the finish. Like right over here, there is a little bit of some smudge marking over here, which is probably something I can maybe, yeah, I think I can get that out with some rubbing compound. This one here is a little bit of a dent, but the finish is not broken. And yeah, other than that, everything pretty much looks like it's okay other than that. So I am going to go over the guitar again and repolish it because, you know, my handprints are kind of all over this thing now. And yeah, so we'll see what happens. But I think she's done, don't you?